Hi, and welcome to the series, Studying the Names of God. My name is Jenniemarie, and I am so excited and honored to get to share with you the name for God, Elroy, which means the God who sees. I have just a personal connection to this name, the God who sees, because my story is very similar to where this name was derived from. We can see the story of Elroy the first and only time that it's mentioned in the Bible in Genesis 16. In that whole chapter, it gives the story of Hagar, who is a slave who runs away because she's being mistreated by Sarah. And so just to back up a little bit, we know the story of Sarah and Abram, right? Like God promises the nation to them, and he's going to multiply their generations and generations. However, they are very old in age, and Sarah's burden. She gets impatient. She gives Hagar to Abraham in marriage so that they can have start it this way. Hagar gets pregnant, and then there's contempt between the two women, obviously, right? So here's the deal: the only person who didn't have agency in that was Hagar. She was told what to do. She didn't, like Sarah didn't come up to her and say, "Hey, can you do me a solid and have this baby for us because of this or that?" No, she was given to Abram and as a wife, and as a result became pregnant. So one, she didn't ask for this life to be a slave. Two, definitely didn't ask to marry another woman's husband and or have a child from him. And so when this happened, Sarah started to have bitterness against her, and she started to mistreat her so bad. And I want us to think about this for a second, because how bad could it have been for Hagar to leave, right, to run away, because she was already at the bottom of bottoms, right? She was the lowest on kind of this caste system. She wasn't even seen as human. She was seen as property. And she had nowhere to go, like no one to flee to, no one to run to. She didn't have any rights or anything. And so when we read, oh, she was mistreated, we have to realize that it had to be so significant enough that she felt like running away was her only option, given that she had nothing to run to. And so she does just that. She runs away, and she's just kind of just in despair. And we read that an angel of the Lord appears to her. And so this is the first time in Scripture an angel of the Lord appears to her. And that phrasing means that it was God himself. The way that it's used in Genesis 16 means that it was God himself revealed himself to Hagar. And he calls out to her by name. He calls her Hagar. And then he tells her, he knows who she is. She knows she's a slave. She knows she's running away. And then she looks up to him, and she names him. And that's very significant, because it's the only time in the Bible that God is named. And it's by Hagar. It's by a woman. And it's by a woman who is marginalized and who is supposed to be unnoticed and unseen. And she, because he sees her, he calls her by name. She calls him Elroy, the God who sees me. And I just find that incredibly, incredibly remarkable that God would reveal himself like this. And it's just very telling of who God is and his character, and a God who would then send his son Jesus to die for us, his one and only son Jesus, and in Jesus' ministry would mimic the way that his Father in heaven saw those who should be unseen. That he went out and saw him. We have so many examples of how Jesus went out and saw women, in particular, the woman at the well, the bleeding woman who he called daughter, the woman caught in adultery. Like, he saw them and he humanized them. And I just want to be a source of encouragement for you right now. I don't know what's happening in your life or what's going on, or if you feel unseen. Certainly there's been times in my life that I've definitely felt completely unseen and unknown. And Jesus changed that for me. He changed everything for me when there was just a big turn in my life from when I did not know Jesus and I felt like I was a mistake and unknown, to when I found Jesus and now I feel known by him, right? And that can be taken away from him. That faith in him cannot be taken away. But there's still times in my life now that I go through where I still have moments of where I feel unseen. Just like, kind of, is what I'm doing here, does it even matter? Do these things kind of like, who's noticing, who's doing these things? But God does, because he's a God who sees. And so if you're like, I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe you're a mom of littles who's just like everyone's dependent on you and you're lost in your identity. Maybe you're a college student and you went away, or you're in school and it's been a lot harder to make friends and you feel like no one sees you. It's very difficult to make friends. Maybe you're a grown woman and you can't make friends for the life of you and you just want someone to know, to see you, to know who you are, and you're trying to figure out what that looks like. Maybe it's in your work life or just even in your personal relationships. I don't know what it is or what it looks like for you, or what you're going through. I do know this. I know that we are told that in this world we will have trouble, but to take heart because God has overcome. And I just want to take a moment today to tell you that we serve a God who sees, a God who sees you. And it is my prayer that you not only know that, but you believe that, and that you just continue to walk in that glory, that you're able to stand up tall. And if no one else in this world can see you and provide those needs, that God can and does and will. Because never will he forsake you and never will he leave you, that he is there. And so spend some time today, sisters. Spend some time in quiet. Spend some time praying to God. Reveal to him your heart, your ache, your desire to be seen and to be known. And then listen. Listen to the Spirit as God fills you with that and tells you, I am Elroy, the God who sees you.